All right, today we're going to dive into a topic that's really changing the game for modern fatherhood: surrogacy for single men. We're going to break down everything: the medical side, the legal stuff, the costs, and maybe most importantly, the team of people you need to make it all happen.
At the heart of all this is one really big question. Is it actually possible to build a family on your own terms? And today, thanks to some pretty incredible advances in reproductive tech and much more supportive laws, the answer for a lot of men is a huge, resounding yes. The old traditional path just isn't the only one anymore. So, what's behind the shift? Why are more and more single men, both gay and straight, deciding that this is the journey for them? What makes surrogacy such a powerful option right now? Well, it really seems to boil down to three main reasons. First off, having a biological connection to your child is, for many, just a massive deal. Second, it gives you a real sense of certainty and control over the whole process. You're right there for every big decision. And finally, when it's done right, it's a really stable and secure path to becoming a dad.
And that security part is absolutely key. In a lot of surrogacy-friendly states here in the US, there are clear-cut laws that protect you. They make sure that the intended father is recognized as the one and only legal parent from the moment the baby is born. That legal foundation is just crucial.
Okay, so let's pull out the map for this journey. The whole thing is actually broken down into two very clear stages, so it feels less like a leap of faith and more like a structured, step-by-step process. These are the two big phases that organize the entire timeline. You start with stage 1, finding an egg donor and creating the embryos. Once that's done, you move into stage 2, the surrogacy process itself, which of course ends with you holding your baby. So let's zoom in on stage 1. This is where the biological foundation for your future family is laid, and it all kicks off with a really, really important decision. And that first choice is between fresh or frozen donor eggs. And there's a real trade-off here. Going with fresh eggs gives you more control over the selection and can potentially lead to more embryos. But it takes a lot more coordination. On the other hand, using frozen eggs from a bank can seriously speed up the timeline and even trim down the costs, since the eggs are literally just waiting for you. All right, so once you've got your healthy embryos created and ready to go, the journey shifts into that second and final stage, the surrogacy process. And this stage has its own clear timeline. It starts with their really personal process of matching with a surrogate. After that, there are these crucial steps to make sure everyone is safe and protected. There's screening for everyone, you get independent lawyers to finalize the contracts, and then you get to the embryo transfer. And from there, you get to follow the pregnancy all the way through to the birth. So from the day you have that first meeting to the moment you're finally holding your baby, you're typically looking at about 2 years, give or take. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, let's talk about the big one, the question that's on everyone's mind. How much does all of this cost? It is for sure a huge financial commitment, so getting a clear picture of the numbers is absolutely essential. So the costs really fall into three main buckets. You've got the IVF clinic costs, that's all the medical science stuff. Then there are the egg donation costs, which cover the donor's compensation and agency fees. But the biggest slice of the pie is the surrogacy program itself. That covers everything from the surrogate's compensation and medical care to insurance, legal fees, and just the overall management of the whole journey. When you add it all up, the total estimated cost for a single dad is usually somewhere in the ballpark of $210,000 to over $280,000. It's a pretty wide range, and that's because, as we're about to see, there are a few variables that can move that final number up or down. Yeah, it's so important to know that the final number can change. For instance, sometimes you need a surrogate rematch, meaning if the first match doesn't work out for some reason, the agency has to find a new one, and that can add some costs. Or maybe it takes more than one embryo transfer to achieve a pregnancy. Things like that, or unexpected medical care for the baby, can add to the total. But honestly, beyond all the logistics and the finances, this whole journey is just profoundly human. It's not something you can or should do alone. Building the right support team around you is probably one of the most important things you'll do. And at the very center of your team are two incredible women: the egg donor, who gives this amazing genetic gift, and the surrogate, who carries and cares for your child. These are true partnerships, built on a foundation of trust and respect. But the team is way bigger than just them. A good agency acts like a conductor, coordinating this whole orchestra of support. You've got doctors, specialized lawyers for both you and your surrogate, and counselors, all there to make sure the process is safe, secure, and that you feel supported emotionally through it all.
And you can really hear the impact of that support in stories like this one from Michael. He said he was nervous going in, which makes total sense. But he talked about how his team handled everything: the law, the science, the emotions, and ultimately helped him become a father in every sense of the word.
So look, after breaking down all the steps, the timeline, and the costs, it's really easy to get lost in all the details. But the real takeaway from this journey isn't about how complex it is. It all comes down to this really simple but powerful truth. Love is what defines a family. This whole process, every single step, every person involved, it's all an act of love and incredible commitment to bring a child into the world.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Journeys like this are completely redefining what's possible, and they're reshaping our whole idea of what a family even is. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will the family of tomorrow look like?